Physical attraction is far more than just a fleeting feeling or a mental preference. It is a sophisticated biological process rooted in survival and deep seated physiological triggers. When a woman anticipates intimacy, her body enters a state of high level preparation that most people never realize is happening. This process is driven by an immediate surge in blood flow to specific tissues, causing them to swell by as much as 20% to 25%. This isn't a conscious choice, but rather an involuntary flush or vascular response designed by nature to increase sensitivity and physical readiness. It is a clear biological signal that the body is shifting from a resting state into a state of intense focus and arousal, optimizing itself for the physical experience ahead. Understanding these signals reveals that attraction is a two-way street of constant biological feedback. For men, the benefits of frequent intimacy go beyond simple gratification and cross into the realm of reproductive health. Scientific data suggests that regular activity actually improves the overall quality and vitality of a man's biological contribution. Essentially, the more frequently the system is put to work, the more the body prioritizes the health and movement of those cells, clearing out older ones and ensuring that the most viable, high quality genetic messengers are available. This creates a feedback loop where physical consistency leads to better biological health, which in turn strengthens the reproductive foundation of the couple. This biological synchronization is what makes a long term connection feel so different from a casual one. When two people are frequently engaged, their bodies begin to align on a hormonal level. In women, the physical swelling and increased sensitivity are paired with the release of oxytocin, often called the bonding hormone, which lowers stress and heightens trust. In men, frequent activity helps regulate testosterone levels and maintains the efficiency of the reproductive system. By removing the fluff and looking strictly at the mechanics, we see that attraction is a high performance engine. It requires regular use to stay in peak condition, and the physical changes we see on the surface, like that 25% increase in tissue volume, are just the external indicators of a much deeper, powerful biological machine at work. The reality of human reproduction is governed by high probability statistics that often catch people off guard. When you look at the raw data, the human body is an incredibly efficient machine designed for one primary goal: the continuation of the species. For a woman who is physically active and not using any form of contraception, the biological odds are overwhelmingly high, sitting at an 85% chance of pregnancy within just a 12-month window. This isn't just a random number. It represents the relentless nature of our reproductive system. Even if a couple isn't trying in the traditional sense, the sheer consistency of biological windows and hormonal cycles means that over the course of a year, nature almost always finds a way to succeed. Understanding this 85% benchmark is crucial because it strips away the myth of luck and replaces it with the cold, hard reality of biological intent. Moving from the purely physical to the social and emotional landscape, the statistics become even more revealing about how we navigate relationships. Social obligation often clashes with personal desire, creating scenarios where people stay in partnerships for reasons that have nothing to do with love or attraction. A striking example of this was found in Australian surveys, where approximately 22% of women, nearly 1 in 5, admitted to maintaining a relationship or engaging with someone purely out of sympathy. This pity factor highlights a complex psychological burden where the fear of hurting someone else's feelings or the desire to be nice overrides personal boundaries. It suggests that a significant portion of social interactions is driven by a sense of duty or emotional debt rather than genuine, enthusiastic connection. When you merge these two realities, the 85% biological drive and the 22% social obligation, you start to see the true complexity of human interaction. We are constantly caught between our primitive hardware, which is wired to reproduce with high efficiency, and our social software, which forces us to play by rules of politeness and empathy. This friction explains why many people find themselves in gray area relationships, where the body might be going through the motions while the mind is elsewhere. It's a powerful reminder that humans aren't just driven by logic. We are a mix of high stakes biological probability and deeply ingrained social pressures that dictate who we stay with and why we choose to stay. This intersection of biology and social psychology is exactly why understanding these raw numbers is so important for anyone looking to master their own life. If you aren't aware of the 85% probability, you are leaving your future to chance. If you aren't aware of the 22% sympathy statistic, you might be misinterpreting the genuine interest of those around you. Recognizing these patterns allows you to see through the fluff of modern dating and social norms, giving you a clearer view of the underlying forces that actually move the needle in human behavior. It's about realizing that every choice we make is being influenced by a hidden script, one part written by our DNA and the other by the society we live in. When we look at the data surrounding romantic history, there is a clear and persistent gap in the reported experiences of men and women. For adults between the ages of 20 and 59, the statistics show a distinct divide. Women report an average of 4 lifetime partners, while men report an average of 7. On the surface, this numerical discrepancy often sparks debates about societal expectations or reporting biases. But the real takeaway isn't found in the quantity, it's found in the psychological impact of how we perceive our past. These numbers represent more than just a list. They reflect the different social pressures and scripts that men and women feel they must follow. Men often feel a pressure to inflate their numbers to prove competence, while women may feel a social pressure to be more selective. Yet neither of these numbers actually dictates the quality of a person's future connections. The most critical realization is that your number has almost zero correlation with your long term relationship success. While society fixates on the quantity of past partners, the data proves that true satisfaction is actually driven by one thing: the mastery of transparent communication. There is a direct, measurable link between how happy someone is in their personal life and how honest they are about their actual desires. People who are high disclosure, meaning they aren't afraid to speak directly about what they want, what they like, and what they expect, report significantly higher levels of fulfillment than those who keep their preferences a mystery. This is because transparency removes the guesswork and the mind reading games that destroy most modern relationships. When you are open about your desires, you aren't just communicating, you are vetting your environment for the best possible match. To bridge this gap in experience, you have to shift your focus from the past to the present moment of communication. If you are hiding your true self or suppressing your needs to fit a certain image, you are essentially setting yourself up for a low satisfaction life. The happiest individuals aren't those with the most experience or the perfect number of past partners. They are the ones who have developed the emotional discipline to be radically honest with themselves and their partners. They understand that a silent relationship is a dying relationship. By being direct and removing the fluff from your own personal conversations, you create a standard of high value interaction that naturally filters out people who aren't on your level. Ultimately, navigating the divide between the sexes requires moving past the statistics and focusing on the mechanics of human connection. If the average man has 7 partners and the average woman has 4, it simply means there is a wide variety of human experience out there. What matters is how you use your voice within those experiences. The ability to be transparent about your boundaries and your passions is a superpower in a world where most people are too afraid to say what they really mean. Happiness is a byproduct of being understood, and you cannot be understood if you are not willing to speak up. Directness is the shortest path to satisfaction, and those who master the art of being open are the ones who consistently lead the most fulfilling and bulletproof personal lives. One of the biggest social blunders men make today is misreading the visual signals women send through their choice of clothing. There is a persistent and deeply flawed misconception that if a woman is dressed in a way that is provocative, tight, or traditionally sexy, she is doing so as an open invitation for intimacy. In reality, the psychology behind fashion is much more self focused than most people realize. Very often, a woman chooses a bold or attractive outfit as a tool for her own internal confidence. It is about how she feels when she looks in the mirror and how that confidence allows her to navigate the world with a sense of power. When you assume that her appearance is a signal directed at you, you are falling for a social mirage. This misunderstanding leads to awkward interactions and missed cues because it ignores the fact that her style is a personal statement, not a public negotiation. Understanding this distinction is the first step in becoming a socially intelligent man who can read a room with accuracy and respect. At the same time, we have to look at the objective standards of what women actually find attractive in men and the data points toward a very specific set of physical traits. While personality and humor are important, the initial biological hook is almost always tied to physical discipline. Women are naturally and instinctively drawn to men who maintain a clean, fit, and firm physique. This isn't just about vanity or having a six pack for the sake of looking good. It is about what that body represents on a deeper evolutionary level. A firm, toned body is a walking billboard for high testosterone, discipline, and the ability to delay gratification. It tells the world and potential partners that you have the mental toughness to stick to a routine, the self respect to fuel your body correctly, and the physical capability to be a protector. When a man's physique is hard and well maintained, it signals a level of biological fitness that is impossible to fake. This concept of physical standards acts as a powerful filter in the dating market. A man who lets himself go is essentially signaling that he has lost control over his most basic domain, his own body. On the flip side, a man who prioritizes his health and maintains a sharp, athletic frame stands out immediately because he embodies self mastery. Women perceive a fit physique as a sign of high value genetics and emotional stability. It's a smooth flowing logic. If a man can dominate his own physical urges and stay in peak condition, he is likely capable of handling the other stresses and responsibilities of life. This is why clean and hard isn't just a physical preference. It's a psychological indicator of a man's overall frame and his ability to lead himself. To truly master these dynamics, you have to stop looking for shortcuts and start focusing on the direct reality of human attraction. You cannot control how a woman chooses to dress, and you should never assume her wardrobe is an invitation, but you have absolute 100% control over the physical standard you set for yourself. By removing the fluff and the excuses, you realize that your physical presence is your most immediate form of communication. When you show up with a body that reflects discipline and a mind that understands social boundaries, you become a man who is both relatable and highly convincing. You aren't just guessing what works. You are applying the fundamental laws of biology and psychology to ensure that you are seen as a high value individual in every room you enter. This is the core of building a bulletproof lifestyle where your actions and your appearance align to tell a story of strength and intelligence. Mastering the hidden laws of human psychology is the ultimate cheat code for navigating life. And if you found value in these insights, then you're already ahead of the curve. Understanding why people do what they do isn't just about trivia. It's about gaining a competitive edge in your relationships, your career, and your social status. If this breakdown helped you see through the noise and understand the raw mechanics of human attraction and behavior, make sure you hit that like button and share this video. By sharing, you aren't just helping an algorithm, you're helping build a community of people who value logic over fluff and reality over social fairy tales. It's about spreading the tools that allow us to communicate better and hold ourselves to a higher standard of discipline. However, what we've covered today is only the tip of the iceberg. If you are serious about becoming bulletproof and mastering the world around you, you cannot afford to stop here. The mind is a complex machine, and most people spend their entire lives being driven by psychological triggers they don't even know exist. That is why you need to watch our next video, where we dive even deeper into the essential psychological facts that everyone, especially those looking to optimize their social intelligence, needs to know. We're going to strip away the confusion and give you a direct, easy to follow roadmap for reading people's hidden intentions and mastering your own emotional responses. Don't let this be the end of your progress. The difference between someone who is successful and someone who is constantly confused by others is simply the level of information they have access to. We provide the hard hitting facts and the direct analysis that you won't find anywhere else. By sticking with us and watching the next segment, you're investing in your own ability to lead, influence, and understand the world with total clarity. Every video is designed to be a building block in your personal development. So move forward with us right now, click on the next video, and let's continue this journey into the mastery of the human mind. You won't want to miss the tools we have waiting for you.